Okay, so you can kind of hold the head.
Okay.
And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and spray and brush. So I give a light little mist.
Is that recording?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. That's great. Nice.
And because she's medium to long coated breed, I'm going to use the boar nylon brush. And I'm just going to separate all these hairs. Brush this in. I would even, on a golden retriever or something that has a little more coat, I would take a variable speed dryer like the Chris Christensen and go against the grain like this, and just to get that separation in there. I want to train these hairs to get separated and not just stick to each other. Good job. Yes.
Oh, that's great. There you
Okay, and then after I get that, I want to see where the coat is laying. So I take my comb and I go the correct direction. So this is going to give me a little more volume. It's going to train my hairs to lay straight. Because like right now you see a lot of curlies in here, and that's because the hair is dehydrated. So it has nothing to do with the quality of the coat on here, because she does have really good quality, but that dryness, the cortex, the inside portion of the hair is flat. It should be round on this breed. And so what happens is when it goes flat, it gets like a Christmas ribbon. And the Christmas ribbon starts to get windy, curly, and things like that. So this is kind of giving me an idea of what I have to work with here. Okay, so a couple of things. The first thing I want to work on is this top line. So I'm going to take all my hair from one side of the dog over to the next side. Now because this coat is dehydrated, I am not going to try to make this perfect in this session. I'll do this over a period of time, and there's two ways that I can kind of control this. One is with thinning shears, and the other one is with a 13mm stone. So here, I'm going to take the 13mm, and I see that this hair sticks out here, and then works its way in here, and then really comes in here, and works its way back out again. This should be a straight line going across. That's my top line. And if this is dipping in right here, then when this dog moves, it's going to look like there's a dip right here. So here, what I'm going to do is get rid of some of these hairs here to flatten that top line out. Let's stand. Good.
Good. There you go.
Very good girl. So I'm not going to take a lot. I'm taking just the tips, but I'm going to try to make this line straighter here. Then I'm going to comb the direction of the hair, and that should help lay that top line down better. Look at this side. See how this is higher? If this is higher, that's because this is sticking out further off to the side. When I went 90 degrees and got rid of this stuff here, that dropped that down. But this over here is sticking out further, so that makes this higher on this side. So that's how, one of the things I'm going to do, and again, I'm not going to try to fix that in one session. I'm going to do a little bit at a time. Now, since I'm back here at the rear already, so I want to have angulation in the front of this leg, and I want to have angulation that I can see from the back of this leg. So what I need to do to capture that is I need to bring all this hair off to the side like this, 90 degrees. So from the inside to the outside, just like this. These on the golden retriever are called the panties. So that's a lot of hair. So for this breed, I'm going to go over to my thinning shear. And what I want to do here is I want to trim this hair in a straight line. So I'm going to go straight down here and turn this into a straight line. And by doing this, now I'm going to have the tip of the butt where it's supposed to be, and then I'm going to see this rear angulation right there. And how much hair did I take off? Hardly any. The hock joints, most people will get this hair back like this, and they trim the back where the hock joints are. Do not do that. What you want to do is take all your hair 90 degrees to the side, and you're going to trim straight down. So right now, this dog, because of the way it's being trimmed, can look sickle hawk. See how far out this hair is standing out here? I'm going to take just that tip off right there and come down in a straight line. Then I'm going to take all this hair, go 90 degrees this way, and do the same thing. Now on this side, it's the reverse. This side, it's not sticking out here, it's sticking out on the bottom. So now I'm going to come over here with my shears. I'm going to flip them around this side now, and I'm going to take off those edges right here, even with that foot. Now when I comb this straight down like this, that's going to look perfectly straight when viewed from the rear and viewed from the side. And all you're doing is taking this 90 degrees over like this, turning this into a straight line. She needs hair here, so I'm not going to mess with that right there. That makes that nice and straight. Now, I need to see angulation here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take all the hair from the inside here out like this. And if I look from the rear, anything I see sticking out, I'm going to take off even with this leg. Then when I bring this back down forward, that's going to accentuate the angulation in that front. But you don't want super long stragglies going, look at me, look at me, look at me. Now we also have furnishings on the bottom. How do we figure out what to do with those? The bottom should be a mirrored image of the top. So I'm going to take this 90 degrees, just like I did with my top line, and then anything that's sticking out past, I'm going to take off these tips. And then when I go like this, she needs more hair there, but when I go like this, that's going to make the perfect line of what that's going to make her look balanced from the top to the bottom. When these dogs are in full coat, a lot of times this coat will go from here straight back. So it just looks like a dog with a big long barrel of coat right there. So what I want to do to show the extension of this rear leg is I'm going to take my comb where the leg should be and pop that out. When I pop that out, there's going to be some little hairs that stick up, and I'm going to take these off. Then when I comb this down and comb this down, that rear leg's going to pop out.
Yeah.
How much hair did I take off?
Nothing in
Yep. Same thing here. So I bring this down, I'm going to come in like this, and here I got a lot of hair that's in the way. So I'm going to come in with my thinning shears. I'm going to take the tips of the hairs off here.
That's right.
And as I do that,
Good girl.
that's going to give me length of leg and depth of chest at the same time. And not look like I have this depth of chest and these little bitty short legs down here. I take my furnishings back here, just like my hawk, and I'm going to pull this to the side. I'm not going to do a lot with this right now because it's really dehydrated. But if I take this out here,
That's right.
I'm going to take just the tips off of here in a straight line down. And when I do that and bring this down, the judge is going to see this as a furnishing here, but not hair popping off of this saying, look at me. Swing around if you can. See this side? Okay, you can bring her around.
You want me to
that'll
swing
work.
her around?
Yep,
Okay.
go ahead.
All right, come on.
So remember what that looked like, and look at that.
Wow.
And again, I didn't take that much hair off. So when the dog's coming towards the judge, away from the judge, or whatever, you can see that there's furnishings there, but it's not flipping out, making the dog look like it's throwing its elbows. Okay. Now, let's go ahead and have her sit down. This will be one of the few times where they can sit.
Sit. Good.
Okay, and then you get over to this side over here. And this is how you do fronts. Okay, so what I'm going to do is most of the time when they're in full coat, there's going to be a lot of hair right here. So I'm going to take everything over to one side like this. And I would take my scissors and I would trim to the side of this body right here. So everything's going to go flush here. Then I'm going to take all my hair here over to this side. And I have a line here that I'm going to take these hairs that are in front of this leg and just clean this up into the center line of this dog. So just this line right in front of that leg right there. Now go ahead and make this dog stand up again.
Stand. Yep.
So by doing that, and hold her head up, I have this front coming down like this and a shelf coming into that leg instead of hair just going straight down that, and that shows that beautiful front on that leg right there.
Right. It's straight.
Okay, and again, this can also be cleaned up with a 13mm stone too.
Can you show that really quick so I can?
Yeah.
I didn't have her camera moved over here.
Okay,
Just
go ahead
even
and
if
have
you
sit
mock
down again.
Even if you mock it,
Sit.
because I want her to see.
Sit.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sit.
This is what you're going to do on your porty too.
Exactly. That's why I'm
Right,
watching
right.
here too.
So we're bringing all this 90 degrees over like this. Go ahead and pull her head up.
Head up. That's
And we're
right.
going to
Good.
take the hair that's in front of the leg, not the upper arm, and we're just going to kind of clean these little hairs up right here, coming in at the angle to the center line of the dog. So you have just a few hairs right here. You can do this with a stone too. And then when she stands up, go ahead and make her stand up again.
Stand.
Now that creates this angle that comes into here, and now you have a separation of leg and that front. So you have your leg, your upper arm going back to your lay back of your shoulder. So it shows that perfectly. Okay, now when we're doing feet, when I'm doing feet, can somebody grab me the small shear over there, please? Thank you very much. Okay, so when I have this small shear, what I'm going to do is I'm going to trace the pads. I don't want any hair to drop below these pads right here. All throughout the dog, even in the back. Bring all my hair down like this, and even this back pad, I'm going to make sure there's no hair dropping below this pad. That's step number one. Once I do that, I can come in with the fine side of my comb like this, and I'm going to start training this hair to come up. When I make my trim, I'm going to take everything from one side over to the other side, and when I trim, my bearing is facing away from the dog, and I'm going to trim in a straight line, straight like this. I'm not going to cut anything in here. I'm just going to go straight like this, like I'm making a box. I'm going to take everything from this side over to this side, and she's doing a pretty good job on these feet right here. Thank you, baby.
So much
Yeah.
space in those
Come on.
glasses.
And then I'm going to make this into a box, a straight line here. No matter how the toes are pointing, I'm going to make a straight box, two lines like this. Then I'm going to take all my hair, come back forward like this, and I'm going to trim this into a straight line with a box like this. And like I said, this is already trimmed pretty good, so there's not a whole lot to trim there. Now, that is how I'm going to train this hair to go in this direction. Now, I come back in with my detailer, and I'm going to shorten up this foot by changing the angle on this hair that's dropping down on this pad. I'm going to come in above this
I can see better.
nail right here, and I'm going to make this come back a little further. So this is a nail you're going to want to work back a little more.
Okay.
I'm gonna take this a little shorter here.
Stay.
Make sure I'm trimming to this pad here. And as soon as I do that, and I train this hair to come back, look at how beautiful it makes that foot rounded in the front right there.
Wow.
See that? So that's going to be a process of training. Now your standard says what type of foot should you have in the front here?
A cat paw.
A cat paw.
Yeah.
So a cat paw comes up high in the knuckle, and then in this crease here, you're going to take your thinning shear, lay it in this crease, and anything that sticks up, you're going to trim that off. That's going to allow this to come up and down into a perfect cat foot.
Very cool.
And look at how pretty this foot's starting to look here.
Yes.
And it doesn't take a lot of artistic value or skills, but look at how this foot is looking compared to that foot right there.
Yeah, it looks nice and round and
Yeah.
compact. This one looks like it's almost like a hair foot.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly. So just follow those techniques over and over and over again, and you'll get perfect feet. Okay, the other part that's difficult to do on a golden retriever is the ear. So to get the golden retriever ear,
We're all like,
we have her, which camera's yours?
this
one's
one.
turtle on.
Okay, so what I'm gonna do with this is I'm gonna bring my comb in here and my thinning shear, and I'll start off with the wide side, and I'm gonna put the pins at a slight angle here, and I'm gonna trim this here, and just start to let this go into that nice leather down there. By doing that, what that's going to do is it's going to give you that width that you need at the top and blend that into that leather down there.
Wow.
So I can bring this out again, more of an angle here, then I'm going to come in like this, start to work my way down towards this finer leather, and take these tips off right here, and just blend this into my leather there. Otherwise, when you look at most Goldens, they look like they were groomed with a chainsaw. Okay, so look at how this is starting to blend into that leather on this side. Now flip over and let them see the other ear.
Come here. Look.
See the difference there?
Wow.
Oh.
Huge difference.
And if you do that a little bit at a time, it's going to get better and better and better. And then all you do is come in with your thinning shears and just edge this.
Oh, that's how you do that.
Yep, and get this so it's nice and soft and nice and round.
Wow. That's
And
all
then
you have to do. It's
that's
not
it.
like a straight cut
pretty.
and
Yeah.
then doubling. Whoa.
Wow.
Now, in the back,
prettier.
you're going to get some fuzzies.
I'm gonna cut
So in the
further.
back, I take my 8mm stone and I start blending from the occiput region right here into this neck here, and I lightly use my thumb to get rid of some of this finer, thinner stuff and start working this out so this looks more natural. So I'm using a light thumb and it's getting nothing but this light stuff right there. And then I can brush that down, and it's gonna look like that ear actually grows like that. The last thing I'm going to show you on this dog is that if you have a situation,
Look at those ears. Oh my gosh.
I know, just big difference, right?
This.
no, not that one. Hey Don, do you have the rake?
Actually, I can get you another rake. Isn't there a rake in your bag?
There was.
It's in your hand.
Oh, jeez. Okay. Thank you. Okay, so let's say I have an area that's a little bulky. I don't want to take out all the undercoat. I see a lot of people that get rakes and they just take all the undercoat out. If I see a little bulky area, I'll come in like this, and just where that bulk is, I'll start to work some of that undercoat out. I want to do this systematically, a little at a time. But look at how smooth that is now.
Yeah.
And if you look at this, it did not get any guard hairs. All it got was undercoat in there. Then I'll come in over here, bring this shoulder down. Just anywhere where there's a little bit of bulk, I'm just going to lightly come in and just cause that to lay down a little better.
But she shouldn't rake the whole dog
No,
ever.
ever, ever.
You're just shaping your dog.
Right.
With my dog, I would like want to use that above his shoulders and.
Yes, and also at the
feathers.
croup,
Yeah.
down in here, get that down. And then if we get a little bit too much bulk in here, we can lightly do that. But you want to do all the parts of the dog a little bit at a time, because when this blows, you want several layers of that. But you don't want to rake the whole dog all at one time and get rid of all that undercoat.
Okay.
That's the difference there. When we look at this, the tip of the butt, so this is too much hair on this side, but I trimmed the other side. So the tip of the butt should be on the center line of this dog. This should be the furthest point out. And going 90 degrees like this, that's how you're going to get the perfect tip. Then when you go out to the front here, the furthest point sticking out should be in this line here. So I can come in with this tool here underneath this neck and start blending this in here to scoop out some of this from the head to help lower this down here to where my center line needs to be. And boom, voila, all done. All right, so that's a quick, short version of different parts of the dogs. Again, I do have some grooming videos that are out there. I do have an Australian Shepherd one that is hopefully going to be edited soon. And that shows you a lot of these parts right here. But the difference between pet grooming and show grooming is that you don't take off a lot of hair, but you're making drastic differences.
Yeah.
Okay, any questions? Bless you all. Drive safely. Thank you very much.